welcome Daria Tataj to this book launch Q&A, because you are inside the book, Innovation and Collaboration in the Digital Era, in the chapter 3, page 70, talking about network thinking and the importance of networking for innovation. So welcome Daria here in this conversation.
Jara, thank you so very much for inviting me. I'm happy to be part of your journey.
Yeah. So for the people who maybe they don't know, what is, because you are the inventor of the network IQ. So what is the network IQ?
We live in the world where innovation is really the basis for any growth. Can be different types of innovation, and we all know some are technology related, others related to the way we work. But I think the most important is the innovation with how we think. So it's network IQ is a way to parameterize network intelligence, which is a set of skills or digital competences that allow people to work effectively as distributed teams in networked organizations. And one way of looking at innovation is really that it is all about networks when it comes to the digital age. The clear evidence is that we are connected by telecommunication networks, communication networks, and they enable a certain working environment where it's not only about the use of new digital tools or platforms, but it's about network-based business models, network-based growth models where collaboration is absolutely key, but not only collaboration. And network IQ captures these other aspects. As you know, collaboration for diversity is one of the sub-indicators of network IQ, but it's 1 out of 7.
Yeah, and every starts with networking. You know, you cannot collaborate when you don't know people. So this is the first step. And I remember doing your network IQ last year, I think, or 1 year and a half ago. And I was in the 77. And it's like, yeah, because if you want to outperform, you have to, to go to the next level, to the 100%, push, make this extra effort like no one is doing, and this is a fascinating thing, how much you can learn to be much more efficient. So what are the best practices for networking individually and as an organization?
Mm-hmm. First, let me put the context of networking. Networking is super important. And quite often people think that networking is really about going to events or going to online events, exchanging contacts, connecting on LinkedIn. But I think networking is a much deeper concept. Networking is about building networks, and networks have always been the essential part of human organization, how we lived and worked. Now, what has happened in the digital age is, number one, that we can build those networks at a very different speed and scale. And second, that we can utilize these networks again at a level that is unprecedented. Now, networks are basically 2 types of connections. And again, popularly speaking, people do not take into consideration that your team is your network. And when we speak about innovation and competitiveness and growth, it's really about your understanding how you build those strong ties with people who support you in your daily tasks, but also at the same time with people who are out there in your ecosystem. So one way of thinking about best practices is how innovative entrepreneurial people like you and like me and other entrepreneurs think about their ecosystem. So the ecosystem is really like a natural environment. In the digital age, it's of course composed not only of the physical co-location where your work is located, but also all those digital ecosystems. So the first good practice is to put a little bit of thought into whether you have the right ecosystem to achieve your purpose. When we work with universities or with businesses, the first network IQ skill that we develop is the network strategy. And it's following the paradigm of the purpose network fit. So we help people understand what are their purpose, what is their purpose, personal, professional, how much it is aligned with their understanding of their team purpose and the organizational purpose. Quite often people are confused and misaligned. And I think that this exercise is very important to build the foundations of trust. The second step is to map your ecosystem, to open up. In the digital age, the size of your networks matters. So the quality is super important, but you need to have a critical mass of contacts in different spheres, industries, areas that may be necessary, so that when you need, you already have these contacts and you can procure different types of support and resources from your networks. And the third element is really to understand who are the right people in these key networks or key communities, and develop a plan how to build relationship with them. So the best practices in a nutshell for every innovative entrepreneurial person is about developing a purpose network fit. So thinking about the ecosystem and consciously placing yourself in an environment where you can grow.
Yeah, this is super as well, going back to leadership and strategy, because it's like you are very mindful with purpose, what you want to do, and you are very serious because you have to take action. It's not only to play around. And at the end, you are building the relationship. So what is the relationship between networking? You know, you have to build for the networking, then to collaborate, then to innovate.
Yeah, the whole paradigm of network intelligence is really about power, and power is connected directly with leadership, right? If you're a powerless leader, well, maybe you're not a leader. But if you have power, then things happen. And in the digital age, there are 4 types of power. And this is based on the theory of power by Manuel Castells that we have adapted to serve innovative entrepreneurial people, how they should become powerful leaders, and achieve their purpose. So in our paradigm, number 1 is to have the right ecosystem. Number 2, that we talked about this, the purpose network fit and the being part of the environment that is conducive to your growth. Number 2 is really about the network dynamics. So you need to expand your network constantly, because if you don't, other people's do. And and you're losing your competitive edge. Number 3 is about orchestration of networks. So it's really about the protocols of communication and collaboration. And number 4 is about influence. It's really about the network power, to reprogram people around you, to reprogram your team, to put a different agenda on the organization, or to the crowds out there. And it's super important, because if you can mobilize people in your network, you have access to resources that otherwise would never be possible for you to pay for. Because in the digital economy, the most valuable things are intangible things.
And I think this is, no one is talking about like what does it mean influence? Like, it's not only followers, but you make these followers interact between each other, like to make something happen. This is the true power of leadership, and I think influence, but it's leadership at the end.
It's a very interesting mindset shift that I experience working again and again with students and business people and social innovators alike, when they realize that they should examine this stereotype that they do not want to be an influencer. So influencers have a kind of, a pejorative connotation
now
on social media, right? You're a superstar. But here we distinguish very clearly between building your ecosystem and your ecosystem.
Yeah.
So it's not about you being in the middle of the network. And this is how most people think about their ecosystem. They put themselves in the center and then all the people around them. So it's like the world before Copernicus, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing now.
Exactly. So you have yourself and the sun is shining around you and the, all the planets and stars and so on. But this is not how the world looks like. So we try to create this mindset shift of leaders. And I was so moved when recently one of the participants, wrote me a personal thank you message saying, now I know I have a voice and I'm an influencer and I know how to use this voice. So in being influential, you can be a micro or a nano influencer, but you need to have a voice. And through our network IQ development programs, we give people this voice. We give teams this voice and we give organizations this voice in their industries.
Yeah, for good. Yeah, to make something happen.
Absolutely, to make something meaningful, to have a sense of a shared purpose.
So how then, if we are going to, like a person, like could be an academic or entrepreneur or professional, how can academics network with startups and corporates to bring research results to life? Because at the end, this is when, the whole book I am writing now, that share your knowledge and bring research to life and how to collaborate together. So, and there are always these kind of misunderstandings or fears about academics working with entrepreneurs or industry. So how academics can network, contact and think about, I can maybe work with industry, or I can start my first connections with industry. What are maybe your advices for them?
Yeah. So in our methodology, we have five reasons why people need to utilize their networks. And it should be very clear that not everyone needs to utilize networks to sell or to monitor market trends or to build a brand, right? So it's really to examine, why do you need this network? And second is to examine if you have the right network. Quite often when it comes to academics who want to commercialize their technology or invention, they have very strong network and a very strong brand in the academia, but not necessarily outside of the silos of academia. So, it's quite simple. If you want to know what's in the book, you need to know how to read, right? And if you want to tell other people what's in the book, you need to know how to read and write and how to communicate. And the same with network intelligence. You need to have those, at least the standard level of those 7 network IQ skills, because if you don't, you're simply of no use to your network, and your network is of no use to you. So again, in a nutshell, number 1, we already talked about this, is network strategy. The number 2 is e-networking, so ability to build networks online and offline. Number 3 is engagement, is virtual engagement, so keeping people in your network connected, because networks dissolve pretty quickly. The next one is empowerment. It's very important to understand that you need to help other people in your network expand their ecosystem according to their purpose, because only like this you create this vibrancy, you create this dynamic, creativity and a potential of a network. Then it's about digital communication, collaboration for diversity, and finally the influence in the world of networks. So these are the 7 competencies, and depending on what is the reason why you need to utilize or build your networks, some skills are more important than others. But everyone, for whatever reason you need to build your ecosystem, is necessary to have the right type of networks and be known in these networks through your digital presence and digital identity.
Thank you very much, Daria. That is super insightful. And I remember I was doing your training, and really it's like incredible the vibe, you create in the trainings as well. So it's really, you are feeling very good. I mean, like it's like very professional, but at the end very like human. No, we can
Thank you,
say.
Jara, so much. We just finished a fantastic Network IQ Academy program at the University of Manchester. And 2 people within just a few weeks raised 200,000 euro each. So this potential is out there. You just need a structured process. They both are academics. They both have great technology and are in process of commercializing it. So I do believe that for any innovator and entrepreneur in whatever domain, public, private sector, at universities, really network intelligence is the core competency when we speak about innovation, competitiveness, and growth in the digital age.
Yeah. So thank you, Daria. So everyone, they can read, I mean, your interview saying, I think, how to do, I think, best practices for networking for innovation. I mean, it's everything here. I am super grateful, like you are here in the book. I was checking you because it's very important, like the people know you and all your work as well and how you can help them.
Thank you, Jara, so much. Thank you. And keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an important work.
Yeah, thank you, Daria. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, you have now watched the interview with Daria Tataj, and you can find more about her interview in the book Innovation and Collaboration in the Digital Era in the page 70 in chapter 3. She's talking about best practices for networking for innovation and why it's important network thinking for innovation and this open-minded to connect to new professionals and academics for innovation. So we have every week an interview with the contributors and the quotes we have in this book, Innovation and Collaboration in the Digital Era. So see you next week, and don't forget to order your copy of the book Innovation and Collaboration in the Digital Era on Amazon or on our website shopcollabwith.com. If you like this video, subscribe here on YouTube, on our channel, and as well follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We are here to help you. So if you have questions, comment here, make whatever doubt, question, comment you have about all these videos and as well about the book. And see you next week. Bye.